Okay, hello everyone. This is Kenyatta Tribble, acting Vice President of Contra Costa College. And I wanted to actually take a minute to create this short video. I know it's the last week of classes, the last meeting for the Classified and Academic Senate. And I wanted to let you know how much I appreciate working with you this year and for all of your hard work and dedication getting through this year. And I wish you a wonderful summer break and happy grading if you're teaching this semester. Hopefully I'll see you all at graduation as well. But I wanted to take a minute to walk through the plan because I know all of you had access to the Google Doc, which was the full template for the Guided Pathways work plan. I sent a final draft of the document after getting some feedback, and we still have it open for feedback through the end of this week. But I wanted to take time to create this video just to let you know how to navigate the plan and to identify some of the resources that were used in the plan. So I'm mostly going to be off camera, but I wanted to at least come and let you know that I wanted to walk you through because I know it may be challenging for you to get through all 20, I think it ended up being 29 pages at this point of the plan. Before starting with sharing the plan, I did want to again reiterate a couple of things. So we have the Guided Pathways work plan that we received in mid-March. That is due June 1st. Statewide, all the colleges are doing this. It's a template that basically is integrated with the student equity plan. So it's changed from the previous plan just a little bit, mainly to align with the student equity plan. And so in doing that, as the team of writers from the student equity plan, we kept the same team leads, and we decided to have that be the focus of the Guided Pathways work plan. In addition to the Guided Pathways work plan, we're also meeting with a group to work on success teams, and that we've had 3 meetings in the spring. And so one thing that I think has been a little confusing is some people are thinking that the Guided Pathways work plan and the student success teams are the same, and the student success teams are a part of Guided Pathways, but it is not something that's built yet. It's something that we will be collaborating on and working together. I did get some feedback also just in regards to making sure it was clear about the pillars of Guided Pathways and where we were with those. And so I wanted to make sure to let you know that that was going to be in the introduction. So we now have that in the introduction, so that's clear too. We are building this together. We are not building this in isolation. We're putting the plan together. But when it comes to implementing the Guided Pathways plan, we'll be working as a whole college and a team. So everyone will have some input. So this is just our plan that can be tweaked and modified, however it best fits Contra Costa College. So with that, I'm going to go off camera and share my screen and pull up the plan and just a few of the documents that we used. Okay, I'm going to start with sharing just the document that you have received or have access to. So this is the working plan. Guided Pathways has the table of contents. And just to do a quick walkthrough, the first set is the landing page, and this is where you can find the general information about where we are with Guided Pathways. As a college, all the work that's happened in the past, so this is not new. The work that happened prior to me coming to Contra Costa College, starting in, I think, 2019, great leadership team at that time. There are still 4 pillars, so I wanted to make sure that you can see some of the things that we've done for each of the different pillars. And then we get down to the Guided Pathway work plan, the areas that we'll be measuring in this plan, again, mirroring the student equity plan. And then we have different initiatives that we are asked to report on as well. So this is an overview. Basically, as far as successful enrollment, there was a change after getting more information. We're no longer at less than 50% complete. We are 50 to 75% complete. For persistence and for transfer level math and English within the first year, and for completion overall with degree or certificate, we are still less than 50% complete. However, with transfer, we are 50 to 75% complete. And when it comes to the integration of initiatives and programs, you can see with SEEP, it's integration in progress. We're also integration in progress with our California Adult Education Program and our Strong Workforce Program. We are starting integration with our ZTC. There's been lots of work that's been happening. This is integration specifically with guided pathways. And so Marites did explain some details about that in her section. And we're also starting integration with the ADTs. And a lot of that will have to do with the program maps. So these are all links to the resources that we use, and I will go through some of them really quickly. But I wanted to just walk you through the plan again. You'll see at the top for every section where we are. You'll see the focus groups for guided pathways. Again, nothing new, the exact same data that we had in the student equity plan. So we're mirroring this information as well. And then below, we'll be answering the questions that we received from the state regarding each of the areas. And so the questions are at the top and the context is in the boxes. So you'll be able to find those details. So that's pretty much the plan. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. We did incorporate some of the feedback that we received, and we plan on incorporating more of the feedback as well. What I will share with you really quickly, speaking of feedback, is the feedback that we received from the different constituency groups. And so I want to make sure I'm sharing the right document. Let's stop sharing. And then start sharing again. Okay, so now you should be seeing the information that we received from the different groups. So I'm starting with Academic Senate and College Council. So there were some general comments regarding the plan that are included. And so you'll have access to this to see what your colleagues said about the plan. Then there's some that are for specific sections that we were providing to the writing lead so that it can be incorporated. This was just a copy and paste from the Google Doc, so feedback that we received there. In the different areas, Classified Senate had some comments as well, and then we also received comments from our ASU. So I wanted to share that with you as well. Okay, lastly, what I would like to do is just make sure everyone understands the resources that were used. So I'm going to share my screen and click through a few of the resources that were used for the planning. So first I'll start with the Strategic Educational Master Plan. All these are linked on the document. And so this gives an overview of the college's goals from 2020 to 2025. And so this was the foundation of the Educational Master Plan, the Student Equity Plan as well. So you can look through that. I also linked the previous Guided Pathways Scale of Adoption Plan so that you can see where we were. Again, the language is a little bit different because they want percentages of where we are. Prior to that, it was where we are on the scale of adoption and the various different areas that we felt that we were on. So this is just giving you information about all the work that happened before the 2022-2023 plan. So that was used as well. And then there's the Student Equity Plan that we wrote in the fall. So this is 2022 to 2025. So you can find this, this information and details as well. So this helped to inform the Guided Pathways Plan. We also looked at some of the data from the 2019 to 2022 Equity Plan, just to compare it to where we are now. And then this is the NOVA Plan for Vision for Success Goals. So we looked at this information as well. Looking at our ABTs, again, a lot of the same common language that is used in the Guided Pathways Plan. The state is really looking at more integration of planning so that we're able to build upon what we're doing in other areas of the college as well. And so this is what I wanted to show you as well. So the launch board has several different dashboards to get information, and we were asked to use the launch board data. We could also use local data to determine our goals. So this is an example, and this is something anyone can access. The student success metrics, we look at cohorts when we look at Guided Pathways, and you can look at your specific college. So I'm going to once again go to Contra Costa College. And depending on the metric you're looking at, you want to make sure you're using the correct year. Because for transfer, for instance, it's a 3-year cohort. So we wouldn't look at 21-22 data. We would be looking at 2018, 2019, or in some cases, if it's not uploaded yet, 2017 to 2018. But for this demo, I'm just going to show you the 2021, 2022 data. You can drill down for race and ethnicity. You always want to hit refresh so that it updates the information and it'll tell you what you're viewing. When you go here, you'll basically see this is our students in the first time cohort, meaning that they applied within the first year, they also enrolled. So this is just an example. And then persistence, this has transfer level math and English as well. We can also break it down and look at just expanded or within the first year. You can also view by gender and race. Those are the only two factors that we can look at as far as the data from the state. Then when it comes to persistence, you can do the same thing. When you hover over the bar graph, you'll get the details of percentages and ethnicity. And again, if you add the gender, you'll see a difference there too. Okay, next I want to just show you the all students data. So this is student success metrics, but this one is for all students. So if you look at all students, it is going to be a little bit of a different filter system, but it still gives you the same information. So for all students, this is system-wide. Again, you can go to the specific college. Going too fast. You can look at the current year and you can drill down to race and ethnicity and you can refresh. And once it says viewing, you can scroll down and see. And it tells you all students who have enrolled that are non-special admit students, meaning they're not in high school at the same time that they're in college. They're not dually enrolled or concurrently enrolled. And it gives you the number of students for each of those areas as well. And you can do the same for successful course completion and other factors as well. The last couple that I have are just our own metrics. So in Tableau, we have, this is new. This was modified this month in May. And for student success metrics, we can actually look at data. I'll just click on transfer level math and English. It also has CTE units as well here. But if we want to look at the data for Contra Costa College, you can actually see over the last couple of years how many students in each of the different race and ethnicity groups have completed math and English. You can also look at transfer, and this is an interesting one because the trends have definitely changed. And when you look at Contra Costa College, you can see, I think the first one I didn't click Contra Costa College because I thought it was already on Contra Costa College. But when you click Contra Costa College, you can see specifically our information. Over here will give you the percentage of students by race and ethnicity because that's what I filtered for. And you can also see the number of students that are transferred. So some interesting data because when you look at the number of transfer students, for instance, I know in 2017-18, we actually stated that we closed the equity gap for Black and African American students, and you can see that it went from 196 to 236. And that, if you look across the board, that is a good number, especially when you consider the percentage of African American students here. One thing to consider, however, you can see the numbers are starting to, they went up by 3, then they're starting to go down. So even though the gap may have been eliminated, in some cases we'll say it wasn't great for all groups if transfer was their goal. The focus was Latinx or Latino students for this particular reporting cycle because of the number of students that fit into this category and the percentage that were actually transferring. So even though this is a large increase numerically, when we consider the percentage of students that we have for this population, it was a 15% transfer, whereas I think for African Americans, it was a 21%. There's probably a mathematician there that can figure out my math. Lastly, I wanted to show you this student equity plan data that was also created by our district. So this one actually gives you disproportionately impacted groups. And so if you look at ethnicity, okay, get a little refresh on me. You can choose successful enrollment. You can choose all the different student success factors, and that will give you the information about which groups were disproportionately impacted. So when you click on transfer, for instance, and this is a good example, because in 17-18, you can see where Black African American students were not disproportionately impacted, but you can see the different groups that were. As we build on this data through the college, we'll see that they are likely, most likely, back in disproportionately impacted groups based on the numbers that I showed you in the previous slide. If you look at transfer level math and English completion, you can again see the different groups that are impacted. Here we have African American students that are impacted, unknown or they didn't respond, and white students that are impacted as well. So again, I just wanted to share this data with you so that you would be able to clearly review the document and see if there's any questions that you may have. So I'm going to stop sharing there. And hopefully this was helpful. It was probably longer than I intended because I was hoping to make it shorter than you having to go through the whole doc, but at least use it as a guide to help you as you navigate the doc. So if you have any questions, please feel free to continue to add comments to the Google Doc. That is definitely something that I'm keeping track of and sharing with the writing team leads and ultimately compiling the document as one document. So again, appreciate you all. And I look forward to hearing your feedback. Thank you. Bye-bye.